Growing up with a single parent is not simply a different family structure. It's a distinctive environment that shapes children in profound and complex ways. Some effects are rooted in hardship, while others emerge from resilience and deep bond. Whether by circumstance or choice, single-parent homes are increasingly common around the world. Understanding the emotional, cognitive, social, and long-term impacts of being raised by one parent helps us approach those experiences not with judgment, but with empathy and clarity. Let's explore 8 key effects, both challenges and strengths, that many individuals raised in single-parent households experience. In doing so, we'll uncover how structural pressures, emotional dynamics, and societal context merge to shape personal development, and how those who grew up without two parents can still emerge emotionally grounded, creative, and resilient. 1. Economic strain and socioeconomic challenges. Single-parent households, especially those headed by women, face disproportionate risks of poverty. In England, nearly half of children in solo-parent homes live below the poverty line, compared with 1/4 in coupled households. Economic insecurity translates into limited resources, fluctuating housing, inconsistent nutrition, and fewer educational supports. These material stressors often ripple into emotional strain. While the single caregiver may work multiple jobs, juggling financial and childcare responsibilities, children may experience insecurity and chronic instability. That instability can hinder developmental progress and academic performance, particularly in countries where social safety nets are less robust. In many OECD nations, single-parent kids score lower on standardized tests, in part due to resource gaps. 2. Academic performance and cognitive development. Across many studies, children raised by single parents statistically perform lower on math and reading assessments. Pong and colleagues found that in countries like the United States, children from such households underperform on standardized tests compared to peers from two-parent homes, even after controlling for school and community variables. Supportive policies, like parental leave and educational assistance, help close the gap. When schools and communities compensate for single-parent resource limitations, educational disparities shrink. Still, the lack of dual support often means less homework help, fewer enrichment opportunities, and greater cognitive load on the child, impacting school success and long-term learning habits. 3. Emotional well-being and mental health vulnerability. Emotional outcomes differ markedly. Research from Sweden found single-parent children report lower well-being across domains like mental health, friendships, physical health behaviors, and free-time cultural activities. Similarly, in the UK and US, children of solo parents are nearly twice as likely to experience mental health problems, even when controlling for income. Brain imaging studies of young adults raised in single-parent families show higher levels of anxiety and depression, and differences in functional brain connectivity, particularly in regions tied to stress regulation and emotional processing. These outcomes often stem from chronic stress, parent-child role imbalances, or loss of consistency in emotional care. 4. Role reversal and early responsibility, parentification. Children in single-player homes often take on responsibilities beyond their age: household chores, caring for younger siblings, or even emotional support for the parent. This pattern, known as parentification, can foster premature maturity and strong life skills. However, when responsibility becomes emotional or burdensome, when the child sacrifices their own emotional needs for the parent, it becomes destructive parentification, linked to anxiety, depression, lower self-esteem, and identity struggle in adulthood. 5. Social behavior, juvenile delinquency, and risk. Multiple reports link upbringing in single-parent families to increased risk of adolescent delinquency and criminal behavior. While pathways vary, economic constraints, lower supervision, trauma, or disrupted attachments, the correlation emerges consistently in systematic reviews. Emerging adulthood may bring higher rates of substance experimentation, legal issues, or antisocial behavior. That said, resilience factors such as supportive mentors, community resources, and emotional investment from the solo parent often mitigate those trends significantly. 6. Adult life outcomes, well-being, and social integration. University of Warwick research tracking over 24,000 adults found that individuals raised in single-parent households report slightly lower life satisfaction, earn around 30% less on average, are 9% less likely to be in romantic relationships, and have fewer close friends. However, the average drop in happiness ratings is modest, often just 0.10, 2 points on a 10-point scale, and wealth and social integration account for much of the difference. Many adapt and thrive when supported at transitions into adulthood. 7. health implications across a lifetime. Growing up in a single-parent family can increase long-term health risks. A study of elderly adults whose parents divorced before they turned 7 found a 60% greater risk of stroke later in life, linked to chronic stress, unstable upbringing, and liability to high blood pressure and disrupted sleep patterns. Additional research shows that children from single-parent families may have higher body mass index, increased sedentary habits, and reduced physical activity, likely influenced by socioeconomic stress and limited resources for extracurricular involvement. 8. Resilience, independence, and deep bonding. Despite challenges, many children raised by a single parent develop remarkable strengths. They often take on responsibilities early, learning time management, budgeting, household tasks, and cultivate maturity beyond their years. Single-parent homes frequently foster strong emotional bonds characterized by open communication, trust, and mutual reliance. Extended family or community networks often step in to provide caregiving support, creating socially rich ecosystems even when a parent lives alone. These relationships can nurture empathy, altruism, and a resilient work ethic. Being raised by a single parent doesn't guarantee hardship, nor does it promise strength. It often involves more responsibility, less structural support, and emotional complexity. But it can also forge deep bonds, resilience, and resourcefulness. The 8 effects explored here reveal that growing up without two parents has multiple layers: economic strain, academic risk, emotional vulnerability, role reversal, developmental acceleration, social behavior risk, lifelong income and integration gaps, and an undercurrent of adaptability, maturity, and relational depth. If this resonates with your own story, know this: your challenges are real, but so are your strengths. Healing doesn't require erasing your past. It requires reframing it. Each survival skill you built, independence, maturity, care, resilience, can become a source of pride, not pain. Whether you're supporting someone raised in such a family or healing your own childhood, empathy and awareness are powerful first steps. Thank you for listening. If any part of this felt familiar, know that you are not defined by the structure you grew up in, but by how you choose to move forward.